You see that dot, that white dot on my forehead? That's actually the sun shining through the blinds on the window. I'm facing the window. The sun is setting. So just watch. That'll go away. By the end of the video, it will be gone. If you watch the end of the video and then, scroll back and watch the beginning of the video, chances are it will be gone. As the sun sets, the dot will go up. That's got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I thought, I'm not going to wait until the sun sets to do the recording because I got things to do. Well, actually, I don't. I've got dinner to eat, but whatever. So why is it that I treat narcissists in my life like children? Treat the narcissist like a child. That's my advice. And the reason is because it seems that narcissists never grow up. Maybe if I move over here, it will disappear. Yeah, but I don't want to sit like that. The narcissist never grows up. Now, I know the term retarded has gone out of vogue. In fact, some people think it's kind of a pejorative, but in a real sense, we can say that the mind of the narcissist, and this is just my opinion based on my 70-some years of observation, but it seems that a narcissist brain has not matured. Neurologically, he or she is still living like a child, behaving like a child because they think like children. They love to manipulate. All right, so how do I treat narcissists like children? Maybe a better question is, why do I do it? And the reason that I do it is because they are children who never grow up. To understand how to treat them is to understand who they are. They're children. So number one is this. There's a thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect that is a cognitive bias where somebody thinks they're smart where they're really not. Some people say they're so stupid they don't know they're stupid. You've heard this saying before. That is another way of stating the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias in which people with limited competence in a particular domain, yes, I'm reading this, overestimate their abilities. So that fits a narcissist, or the ones that I've met in my life, almost all of them. It fits them to a T. They're nowhere near as bright or smart as they think they are. They dupe people. They betray your trust, and because they betray your trust, they think, I must be smart because I got away with it. But they don't understand. That doesn't make them smart. What that does is that makes them dishonest. And being dishonest, in my experience, is not smart. In fact, it's just the opposite of smart. The thing that narcissists often do is they destroy their own reputation because they have no character. Where your character is, your reputation typically will follow. You might want to mark that one down. Number two, one of the indicators that narcissists behave like children is emotional manipulation. Now, we're going to tie these 6 things together in just a moment, so hang in there with us. Emotional manipulation, I can think of several things off the top of my head. For example, crying. Men usually don't do this, but a lot of times female narcissists will cry. Sometimes men because, well, if it's effective, they'll do it. But a lot of times women will fake crying. So if you get in an argument or get mad, start yelling at them. I hope you don't do that. But if you do, a lot of times their response is to pretend to cry because that works, shuts you up. But how do you know if it's fake or if it's real? Well, one of the indicators of real crying, besides, the presence of tears, is sobbing. When somebody is crying, that emotional thing, that genuine emotional thing, causes them to gasp for air. They want to try to get a breath. That's sobbing. You ever watch a little kid cry? They sob. They don't just sit there with tears in their eyes. And when a narcissist fakes crying, they don't know that. They don't know how to act, but they can make a face. They can put their fingers in their eye, whatever. And they can, kind of do that pouty thing with their voice. And by the way, that's another thing narcissists do to emotionally manipulate people is they pout. They don't get their way, and so they're going to let you know that they're mad about it by pouting. Another thing they do is throw a temper tantrum. Children do all three of those things. They cry, they pout, they throw temper tantrums. They're just like narcissists, but well-developed children. As they develop into adults, I should say well-developed adults, grow out of those things. Okay, sometimes we may do a little bit of it, but if you are a person who throws a temper tantrum a lot, that's childlike behavior, you know? And narcissists, they just can't control their emotions, it seems. Or I have never met one who can. So they think they're smart, they think they're wise, they're not. They think they are pulling the wool over people's eyes, and often they do. I mean, I've been duped by these people more times than I care to remember. But ultimately, it comes through, and if you watch for these things, they're crying, they're pouting, they're temper tantrums. You realize these are children, and I found one of the best things to do is to treat them like children. Now, how do you punish a child? Now, I got to tell you, I may make some people mad when I say this, but when I was growing up, I got paddlings all the time. I probably deserved about 10% of them, but whatever, that was life. And I got to tell you, I got smacked with a ruler, I got smacked with a wooden spoon, I got smacked with a switch. I had to go cut my own switches. I don't know if your mom and dad made you do that or not, but I got to tell you, I came out okay. You know, that being paddling didn't hurt me that much. And I don't think you want to paddle a narcissist, because if you do, they send you to prison for a few years. So you don't want to physically engage, or at least I don't want to physically engage with a narcissist. There can be extreme cases, you know, self-defense, where I'll make an exception, but by and large, the best way I have found to deal with children and narcissists who behave like children is give them a timeout. The best timeout to give a narcissist is a permanent timeout. Just stay away from them if possible. Yeah, I know. You work with a guy, you can't just quit your job. Because if you do, you go to another job, and guess what? There's another narcissist, probably more than one. If the narcissist is in your family, you can't always just get away from them. I try to stay away from them. I don't have many in my family, but if you do, you know, maybe it's a neighbor. What are you going to do? Move every time you encounter a narcissist? They're everywhere. Wherever you move to, whatever job you change to, they're going to be there. So manipulation through emotions is something you got to deal with with narcissists, and the way to punish them is through a timeout. My opinion, only my opinion, you could take it or leave it, is the best timeout is a permanent timeout. Number 3, I've noticed that most narcissists that I have dealt with are extremely irresponsible. Little children, preschoolers, very seldom clean up after themselves. They make a mess. It doesn't even occur to them that they made a mess. Then somebody comes along and cleans it up, and you got to teach them. You know, you got to put your toys up when you're done. You know, you got to learn to brush your teeth. You got to learn to groom yourself and keep your room straight and in order. They have to be taught those things. Well, it seems that a narcissist has either never been taught those things or it never sank in. He never paid, or she never paid attention. It's not part of their neurology. So the narcissists that I know, it's not just that they're messy. I mean, some of them could be tidy, but it's not that they're messy, but it's messy with their lives. And by that I mean you can't count on them. I've said this in past videos probably a million times, is the one thing you can count on with a narcissist is you can't count on them. You can always rely on a narcissist to be not reliable. You can always depend on them to be not dependable. They tend to be irresponsible. They're just like children. So what to do? Treat them like children. Seems to work for me. You do what you want to do. I'm just telling you what I've experienced in my 70 plus years. So you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can try it out and see if it works. It's worked for me. Number 4, I've noticed that narcissists are like children with blame shifting. Have you ever known a kid that broke something and said, I broke it? No, they just, sometimes they do. There are some kids who are really honest from an early age. But, maybe they'll break something, or maybe they're not supposed to eat a cookie and they eat the cookie, the classic steal from the cookie jar thing. and you ask them who took the cookie or who broke the glass or the vase or whatever. Not me. That is one of the earliest phrases it seems that a child learns is to say, not me. I didn't do it. Narcissists never take responsibility for anything unless it's something good. Then they take all the credit for it, even if they didn't do it. Little children do that, but a lot of little kids don't take credit for what other people do because it just hasn't occurred to them. But they're just not responsible, and they like to do what we call, number 4 is blame shifting. If the child didn't do it, if the little kid says, I didn't do it, and it was done, somebody took the cookie. Somebody broke the glass. Somebody broke the window. Somebody threw a baseball through the window. I didn't do it. Well, then who did? Somebody else. That's blame shifting. Don't know. Maybe they'll blame someone by name. Maybe they'll lie about somebody. Narcissists do that all the time. It's projection. What they will do is they will take their faults, and if you are dealing with a narcissist, I almost absolutely guarantee you are experiencing this even as I speak. If you have a narcissist in your life, they are blaming you. They are projecting onto you their flaws. If they're lazy, they'll say you're lazy. If they're dishonest, and they are, they'll say you're dishonest. If they slander people, they will accuse you of being slanderous. They are narcissists, so they almost always accuse other people of being arrogant. That's like a little child. Blame shifting. And of course, number 5 is they're just selfish. It's all about them. The earth exists and all the people on the planet. The entire universe exists because of the narcissist. It's all there for him or her. Apparently, they haven't thought through this. Apparently, it hasn't really sunk in that humans have been around for thousands of years before they were ever born. Still, they seem to think it's all there just for them. It doesn't even seem to occur to them that there could be some other reason for the existence of everything other than to please the narcissist. At least that's the way it seems. They're extraordinarily selfish. And if they don't get their way, what happens? Go back to number 2. Emotional manipulation. They pout, they cry, they stomp, they throw a temper tantrum. They have to be selfish. And number 6, they have to be controlling. So these are the 6 things we find in little children. These are the 6 things that compel me to treat the narcissist like a child. To think of the narcissist as a child. Now, get a mental image in your mind of a narcissist, and while you're thinking of him or her, imagine what he or she looked like when they were 3 years old. Maybe 4, maybe 2, but, a little preschooler, because they were at one time, right? So what did they look like, and what did they behave like? And how have they changed? The fact of the matter is they haven't changed. And one of the reasons you don't try to change a narcissist is because they can't change, in my opinion. If it's a full-blown narcissist, I mean truly neurological problem with narcissism, they couldn't change if they want to, and of course they don't want to because they won't admit they have a problem. 2 kinds of people that will not admit they are narcissists. Number 1 are those who are not narcissists. Okay, sometimes they do, but they shouldn't. The other kind of people who don't admit they're narcissists are narcissists. In other words, nobody will admit they're narcissists. Kind of like you go to a prison and try to find somebody who's guilty. Now, they're all innocent. Well, actually, some of them are. But the fact of the matter is, narcissists will never admit that they're narcissists because they don't want to be controlled. They want to be the ones who are controlling. Why do they want to control you, your circumstances, and everybody else? It's that addiction, ego addiction. They need to use you as supply to boost their ego. They feel inferior, they feel incompetent. Deep down inside, they feel like little children. They know they're out of control. So they try to compensate. I'm just theorizing here, raising a hypothetical. But they want to feel like control, and so they exert control more than they should. makes them feel like, well, not a child anymore. But what they don't realize is in being controlling, they're actually showing us their childishness. So how do we tie all this together? We need to understand is the way they treat you is probably, well, they treat you like a child, right? Is probably the way you should treat them. One of the telltale signs in my life, my experience, that a person is a narcissist is they treat everyone else like children. Because, again, projection. So, okay, treat them the same way. You're a child. I understand you're nowhere nearly as smart as you think you are. Kids, they don't know they're little kids and don't have any sense. Otherwise, they wouldn't act the way they do. They are emotionally manipulative. They're not responsible. They're always blame shifting. They're very selfish and controlling. So recognize the way that they are and treat them accordingly. Now, be careful to note, I'm not saying that you should become a narcissist and behave exactly like they do. I mean, the smear campaign, that's something the narcissist has done, and you don't need to do it. I would encourage you not to do it. Why? Well, I think the narcissists typically, well, at least those that I have known, typically they destroy themselves. I don't have to bother. Why would I do it? The narcissist is out there, trying to control other people, and people get fed up with it. And there's so many people trying to get back at the narcissist. Why would I do that? Makes me feel good, but that's not the objective. The objective is to stop the narcissist from hurting me. So treat them like children, get away from them, put them in timeout permanently. The other way we want to tie this together is just to remind you, speaking of being responsible, is purpose to be the adult in the room. Sometimes it's not hard to do because that childish behavior, if you have a narcissist in the workplace, his or her childish behavior, you will find it rubs off on other coworkers. And to compete, they all start acting like the narcissist. And here you are trying to be the adult in the room, and everyone is a narcissist and making life miserable for you. Not easy to deal with it, but still, I think we need to be the adult in the room. Just my opinion. There's a red dot lower right-hand corner. Click on it to subscribe and join our YouTube family. Don't forget to click the bell so you get notifications. The rectangle lower left-hand corner. If you want to keep listening, we've got a lot more videos where this one came from, so click on that to access our video library. We'll see you all next time.